Coming up on Oily Trash Movies. Oh my god, the cow is haunted. It's a ghost cow.
And then I'm gonna be like, and we're alive.
Hi, and we're live. Hello, and welcome to Oily Trash Movies. This is the only podcast starring two people who genuinely believe that by saying unfunny things for 2 hours each week, that will build for them the Tower of Babel.
True.
We're your hosts. I'm Daddy WarBux.
And I'm Bublegum Barbie.
Hold on, am I recording? Alright, I am recording. Alright, we're good.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Did I say in Grim Cuddy? I brought my podcaster character out for nothing.
Okay, well, so you know what?
Okay, cut that. That wasn't funny.
Today, we gotta leave it because today we're gonna be watching Cabin Girl. We're moving into the spooky season. And last weekend, before we get into Cabin Girl, as always, we have to...
pick, though.
No, it's my pick. You picked that shit manfish from last week, which we're gonna get into. But before we get into that, I want to talk about Grim Cuddy again because I've been thinking a lot about that movie. And I was thinking, mostly about, I'm going to be real quick about this, but I've bitched for 2 weeks straight about how they started that ASMR motif, and then they let go with it. I think not only should they have kept doing it, that's how our hero should have defeated Grim Cuddy, is with the ASMR. And before you say that sounds stupid, I want to think about how Grim Cuddy was actually defeated by both of her parents. And the first time was her mom punched through the window, and then it was like, you know what? I'm suddenly no longer worried because I punched this window, and Grim Cuddy disappeared. And that was really stupid. I think what could have happened and would have been cool, she punches the window, and then she realizes that she's just raging out, being completely irrational, and then does her Zen state that the daughter's always going off about. And then you have an ASMR section where she's listening to, like, the clicking of the car. Like, you know, maybe when she punches it, she hits all the gadgets, and her windshield wiper starts on every second, and the turn signal is clicking on every quarter second, and then, you know, other sounds, and you bring up all the folly, and it's an ASMR section, and then the mother goes Zen, because they also never brought back that whole Zen feature, which was sort of our main character's defining personality point, was what she was doing this ASMR for calmness and Zen. Yeah, she should have used that to defeat Grim Cuddy. It would then she would have actually contributed something, and her strengths that she brings to the movie actually completes her character arc. That's all I have to say about Grim Cuddy. We also watched Manfish.
I mean, hold on. Since we're talking about Grim Cuddy, I agree with you. Even though I hate ASMR, but I see your point. It would have been great for them to continue to do that.
Well, then you're integrating it into the story when you actually have the characters use it to achieve a state of calm and thus diffuse Grim Cuddy.
The creature was awesome, and I do want to say that to the copycat of Slender Man. The creature was great. Everything else sucked. And that's all I want to say. Manfish.
Speaking of everything else sucking, Manfish.
Yeah.
All three of us hated it. What I have to in considering what you're saying with all these awards it won, with everybody rating it high on IMDb, all I can think of is that it has to be some sort of cultural divide between American humor and British humor, because we all thought that movie was terrible. I still think the premise is great, and I thought a lot about how I would restructure Manfish in the past week, and I would keep the premise, maybe have them be teenagers, and like I said, plug it into a very formulaic rom-com type structure, and then your humor comes from the fish out of water element of the manfish literally being a fish out of water, and you can still have the horror elements. Like, I was thinking, like, the best way, you can even have the main character still have a girlfriend, like a high school girlfriend who's like a bitch and kind of out of his league and is maybe only using him to get homework answers and to cheat off of him on the test. And then he meets this manfish. And then I'm like, okay, well, how you get the humor is you have the parents object to this relationship, but for none of the obvious reasons of this boy getting it on with a fish person. Like, you have them say something like, he's a deadbeat, he doesn't have a job, and this and that. And then, like, maybe the manfish is working at McDonald's, and someone orders a fillet of fish, and he has PTSD, and he shoots the guy with a harpoon, and it's a big fuss, and, humor. Funny things, while also, this movie it was not funny. The main character was so unlikable. A big, fat, old, balding loser who is so incompetent he can't even make jewelry boxes. But if you have, like, a teenager who's just sort of awkward and kind of a fuck-up, but, deep down he's a good person, that's, I feel like, a character that would work better in that premise.
Maybe. Maybe. With that topic, having a teenager would be very interesting, and it would set a whole different tone with that film, I feel. I disagree with you on this. I did like the humor. I do like British humor. Like I mentioned, I am a fan of the what is it? Python series?
Monty Python.
Monty Pythons. The bunny. I love all of those. The soldiers. It's funny. I loved The Office and not the American Office, although that one is funnier and more successful. I did like the British humor. And then also, this is my third time I mentioned Doctor Strange.
First of all, yeah,
So
and
funny.
you've been wrong every time. It's Doctor Who. Doctor Strange is the Marvel character. Doctor Who is the British superhero type sci-fi guy.
That's who I meant the whole time. Yes, I meant Doctor Who every time. So anyway, funny story about, I was reading on the trivia on Manfish. Apparently, one of the songs, I Lost My Eyes to the Ocean, was written by and performed by the actor who plays Manfish, which is the creature. And the song relates to the day on set when the creature's eyes came free from the head and floated away into the sea during a take, setting the film back by a day. And the head was okay, but they had to make new eyes for it. So
you were also wrong when you said that his eyes were exactly the same throughout the entire movie?
Exactly. I was also wrong with that. And another note is that to make this film, this indie film, it took him 3 days. 13 days, sorry, not 3 days. 13 days it was filmed, which is somewhat, it does, in its indie films, it does get some respect from me, but I've seen films take only 48 hours and still be better than this one. But it's respected. 13 days for all of this special effects. Like, I mean, the creature practical effects was really good. The creature wasn't like Grim Cuddy's creature, but it was okay. Let's see what else. And then I have also read that the creature was supposed to have a seaweed comb over, and then they decided not to do it because they said that it might have been a little too silly, and I wish they would have done it. Just imagine a fish creature having seaweed comb over.
Yeah, I think
Like,
moving
hilarious.
into the sillier aspects of the film would have helped
Would've
it out
saved
way
it.
more than centering around these drug dealers and this human trafficking of manfish. That all of that was just fluff. It wasn't interesting. It wasn't funny. Get it out of the movie. Give us something else.
And then seeing it, one thing that made it weird for me is, do you remember the whole dogs are missing arc, and it turned out to be his brother?
Yes.
That was weird. Like, why have it? Like, the entire time I thought it was a sea creature, and it wasn't.
Yeah, it felt like that was gonna be some sort of payoff, because he even found the dog skull on the beach, which, the movie is a mess. I could see it being put together in 13 days. I would never see that movie again. I would not recommend it to anybody. 4 to 5 buckets of oil. But hey, maybe that episode will be popular in the UK and we'll get some international fans.
It's spiked by a lot this month. This month has been its highest since the beginning of August. It has spiked, like, skyrocketed, essentially, of how many people are watching it. And I'm telling you, people love this. It has the most 10 reviews than anything else. I think we are the ones who really didn't like this movie. Although I did.
In that case, maybe we'll get some international haters following us.
Right? Yeah, if you disagree with our take of Manfish, you should subscribe and follow us.
Leave a comment. Tell us what you liked about the movie, because we didn't like a damn near thing about it. And that was Manfish. Today, we got a great movie. This is called Cabin Girl. Bubble, would you read the intro to this?
I don't have it.
You do have it, Bubble. I sent it to you.
So follows 24-year-old Ava Robbins, who moves into an isolated cabin, but what seemed as a dream come true soon turns into a living nightmare when Ava's interest in the supernatural triggers the series of weird events. Interesting.
So this is another movie about us. This is an influencer who, and a lot, this is another Tubi original. I believe we watched a Tubi original 2 weeks ago. And this is, it seems like it's told kind of like Float, where you have the character speaking directly into the camera, but hopefully this is better than Float.
Okay, so this one is least popular than Manfish.
Well,
by a lot.
Good. That means it's going to be better.
Manfish is more popular. Manfish is way more popular than this movie. And this is going to bring us back to, what was that movie, Alone at Night? She was
a little bit like Alone at Night, a little bit like Float, a little bit like Follow Her.
She was also an influencer. She was a cam girl.
True. And this is also a cam girl, technically. Although she's not like stripping. Like she's not a sexy cam girl. She's just a girl in front of a camera. I don't. She's an influencer.
So yeah, again, the information I'm seeing, the director was John D. Wagner, the writer was Leslie, and Roy James Wood. I think that's all I see that's interesting. The cast.
A bunch of people no one's ever heard of. Are we ready to start, Bubble?
They have one. Her name is Amanda Hancock, and she is uncredited. So she credited herself in this film, but the directors and writers didn't credit her, which is wah-wah. Like, that's like my biggest fear, is crediting myself and not being acknowledged by anyone. So
yeah,
try to see if we find Amanda Hancock in the background.
This episode is dedicated to Amanda Hancock. And 3, 2, 1, and go.
Did I tell you that I watched the Barbie movie? Like all of it?
Yeah, Bubble, it's the only thing you've talked about every time we've spoken in the past 3 weeks, I think.
Well, and I want to take you.
Yeah, Vangirl, she's up to 33,000 subscribers.
Oh my god, she's so famous.
I wonder if she'll ever get 750,000.
True. Oh, look, she has a active chat.
People care about her.
Yeah. She's not as famous as us. Oh my god, this is already horrible. I'm already bored.
I have a feeling first of all, this is the opening credits of Bubble.
Our live listener today.
Yeah, we got Nudos in the chat today. This is
Hell yeah! This episode is dedicated to Nudos.
wow. You actually pronounced his name right. Nudos is one of our biggest longtime fans. We appreciate you, Nudos.
So she crashed and she was in a coma for like days.
Apparently, a couple months.
I want to dedicate this episode to that beautiful couch in the front yard of this house.
So she's van girl, but she has no more van. Now she's just girl. She's house girl.
Wrong. She's cabin girl.
Oh yeah, true.
I remember when I used to get excited about 10 likes on a new video.
Oh, okay.
So
You know what?
I'm no
We
longer
still
fan
enjoy.
girl.
We still get excited with
Call
10
me
likes.
cabin girl.
Still haven't gotten any 10 likes. We get excited with 5 likes.
Oh man, she's got a stalker. He's doing weird things like obsessively washing his hands. This place is a shithole.
That's great.
All the windows are broken out. There's no way you could live in there. There'd be animals. There's a hole in the roof. What is this?
Oh my god.
Unwelcome?
I mean, it's a smaller hole than unwelcome. Do you remember when you kept talking about there's no way that they would let you buy a house in the United States with a gaping hole in the bedroom?
Yes.
She's American, isn't she?
Well, this movie's full of shit. Actually, if you're buying the house for cash, you could do that. But if you are getting a mortgage, the bank is going to require some things to be fixed. Yeah, we're also grateful for our followers, guys. You're like our family. Well, she's got her overalls on, ready to get some work done. What? She's chopping wood? She doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. Oh man, we've got the chopping montage.
I don't believe one bit that she would be able to do that. He's the kind of guy who hates vloggers. Goes around and kills them.
Man, I can't wait until we get somebody who's obsessed with us and tries to kill us and stalk us. Now, this is atmospheric.
Yeah, where do you think this is filmed?
You know, this has got to be the Northwest. I tried to look at the license plate on the tow truck, but I missed it. Or I couldn't make it out. I don't know. I don't see all the pine trees I saw earlier.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, she had a flashback.
A lot. When will you get back on the road? This is with you guys, and I want
Yeah, I'm
you
looking at
guys
her follower
to send me
account
positive
like every
vibes.
second.
She's getting
Hold on.
thousands of likes.
Okay.
With thousands of followers.
Did you guys see that?
Is the mouse behind it?
Did you miss me? Yes, come here. Nope. No, 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 no.
Oh man, I would have loved it though, like the
I
rat
like
jumped
it
in her
if you
face.
found a home of your own.
It started
Yo-yo.
clawing at her. She's like, oh my god! And then the chat is just going wild. Ah,
fault.
she's being attacked by ghosts.
But my heart is still ready. Call it a night. Mm-hmm. Mwah.
That's not how you sign off.
It's take care, comb your hair. Ava.
Maybe she is Hannah Granger.
Not gonna lie, this place is amazing.
This is
This
gorgeous.
town is the shit.
Man, small town America. Who can beat it? I think this mechanic boyfriend
really
is
is
surgically attaching
One of a
weapons to women's arms.
I gotta run.
It's
Bye. Hello.
part of the cult.
She's a phone mount on the front of her bicycle handlebars.
She's literally vlogging right now while she's riding a bike.
Yeah, but
She's just showing them her nostrils.
the video of her was in portrait mode, but the phone was mounted in landscape mode. It's a consistency error, filmmakers. Uh-oh.
Is he gonna run her over?
You know, I don't know if he's a bad guy, honestly.
I don't think so. Maybe he's probably trying to warn her.
This is like a red herring. And when they showed that shed and the light was coming through,
It's got 30.
I was getting vibes from Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Popcorn machine working? Triple butter, just the way you like it.
That's an alien movie, isn't it?
Yeah,
The
Steven
disappointing.
Spielberg.
Ma'am.
I think I've seen it.
Which,
Always
as we all
pleasure.
know, steal from Steven Spielberg if you're making a low-budget indie movie.
That's a sick-ass van, too.
I was gonna say, this is a sick-ass axe. It's clearly never been used once. So shiny, brand new. Ergonomic rubber grip. There's gonna be an axe off later in this movie.
Woke up. Oh my god, it's the ghost of the river.
Did a cow wander onto her property?
Sometimes happens. Especially if you're like in a town like that. I had that happen to me in my property. 20 cows came by to shoo them all away.
Oh my god, the cow is haunted. It's a ghost cow. Her fucking blinds are hanging out through the broken window outside of her house.
With life, you know. So
He lives in his van.
maybe Hannah's, or maybe
He's
I'm
van
getting a
man.
little woo-woo.
They expect me to believe that he's in the same town as her.
In the
When
same
it's
time
like-
zone.
In the Thames. Yeah. No filmmakers.
Look, this was shot in 13 days.
Wrong. I doubt it.
Yeah, I would actually be surprised if this was shot in just 13 days. It seems pretty... Seems like it has an ambitious shooting schedule with all these locations. You got in town, wherever this dream sequence
Yeah.
is taking place, the river. This has been... Filming has been active in this movie since 2005, Bubble.
God dang. You saw it?
No, I'm just kidding. It's a joke.
I would say my best guess, this was filmed at least 4 to 5 months.
Oh my god.
It is the ghost of the rat in human form.
I think this is the first ghost movie we've seen.
No, wrong. Float.
Float was a monster movie. Who knows what the Float was? It was a haunted river or some
was-
shit.
The way I read it was the ghost of the river. With the ghillie suit.
Oh, there's people chatting. We have an actual live chat for this episode.
Nudge was like, oh, try to milk it. Get ashes on some rubber gloves and get some ghost milk.
She has to go to the local library and look her up on microfilm. Why does this bar have a giant back room that's completely abandoned?
Exactly how they used to try witches back in the day. Push you off a cliff, and if you flew, oh, you're a witch. And if you
Like, what would they do? Because the whole point of throwing the witch off a cliff is to destroy her, right? Or to prove a point.
Bubble, I don't know. There's no such thing as witches.
Wrong.
Oh, we've got the creepy graveyard scene now.
Give this graveyard scene a 1 out of 10.
The graveyard scene from Jeepers Creepers was better because it was nighttime.
Yes, it was. Yeah. And the graveyard scene of Kill Her Goats was better because it was foggy. And it had a hot woman walking around going, hello? Where am I? What if that's like her brother?
Oh my god. Yeah, that's a good theory.
I mean, who knows? Maybe I'm gonna
Otters are
solve a
such
murder cover-up.
strange creatures. Like, imagine being in your small town and then you just see someone holding up their phone like that and talking to themselves all the time. Like, wouldn't you think they're mental? I would.
I mean, that's what people do. People are mental.
Oh, thank God.
She got the fucking Ouija board.
Or me.
So that's what's in there is the van.
That's right, he did say at the beginning that he put the van in the shed.
What if he's just stalking her because he was in a rough patch, had to sell the van, He's like, I'm gonna come back for it. I promise you. When he like sold it to the
He's stalking the
car
van.
salesman.
He doesn't give a shit about her. He just
Yes.
he just wants the van.
Yeah,
Some
exactly.
time to kill.
Exactly.
It's probably tweakers. They like to break into old sheds and shoot up.
Oh shit.
Tweaker.
Anything else I need to know about?
You got that price for a reason. This ain't Beverly Hills. Here, let me check.
Her crime is literally having to call 911 to report a cow in her property.
The cow broke into my shed.
Just tweaking.
Damn, this bitch
Oh
is
man,
thirsty.
I'm thirsty right now. I'm thirsty right now. But I'm letting myself
shit.
dehydrate for you guys. So you better like and subscribe.
Yeah, you know how parched our mouths get saying unfunny things for 2 hours? Oh my fucking god.
Oh!
This ghost is
my
so scary.
Oh, that was terrifying. I had to close my eyes for a second. I was so scared.
Oh my god, she didn't hit a deer. She hit Hannah Granger.
What do you think you're doing?
And
Oh
that's
my God.
he just found her hair stuck underneath it.
This is from
I was
a
just trying to
famous
explain.
child
The poor
scary
orphan girl?
stories in that you can find in your local library. Please go support them.
Okay,
It
can you
is
just calm
the
down for 1
spooky
second, please?
stories from that famous artist who is in the child spooky stories. There's a whole story about this. There's a woman who like is living. She like runs over this thing, and it describes like that. Like they start finding like hair particles, and then like blood on the tire.
Ooh.
Such a good story. It was like by far my favorite ghost story ever I have ever read as a child.
Well, I think there was a part written by Stephen King. I don't know if it was originally based on a Stephen King story, but it was developed into one of the segments on the Creep Show movie. Anyway, that is a separate act. So I was correct.
She thought that she hit a deer, and the whole time she was being haunted by this Hannah or whatever, and it turned out that she ran her over this entire time, and she thought that the house was haunted, and it was never haunted, and it was her running over this girl. Is this the witch?
This is the bartender of the Mystic Fox. So apparently she's also dabbles in tarot.
The princess.
Watch, the devil card is gonna
So
appear
this card
because the
refers
movie
to the
always
dominant
loves the
individual
devil
in the
card.
situation,
Any movie
and it is
that has
a
tarot
woman.
in it.
The next card, it's going to pertain to you, the questioner.
Oh, you called it, Bubble.
Is that
Oh my god!
Oh my god.
Ava, please.
get the
Please.
Oh my god. She has an Apple iPhone sticker on her window.
Elijah Granger has been
Oh my
declared
God.
mentally unfit after his
Man, now we're going to an insane asylum. This movie has all of the creepy locations.
You're not going to get much out of Elijah. Don't let his face scare you. I mean, you think he couldn't miss at that range.
Oh man.
I mean, you put the gun in your mouth, you can't miss, right?
Are we gonna have a jump scare where he grabs her?
What is it?
Are you having...
Okay, I've removed my theory of the brother, and now I have a new theory. That's their father. And he's investigating his daughter's death because he assumes that she was murdered, and nobody believes him.
Have a nice day now.
So is the cop the dad, thus invalidating your other theory? Man, too bad she burnt her bridges with Mystic Fox Lady because she could get a little bit of insight on who the people in the town are.
The thing that I love the most is how she didn't do anything about the couch.
It's still sitting out there, getting rained on,
Yeah.
being infested with bugs.
Yeah, she mates directly in the face.
Man, he got limpied.
Gosh, Ava is crazy. She's the red herring. Our lead becomes the murderer. Ah.
Yeah, great twist.
Oh my god, this is like a Larry Witch project.
That was the extreme close-up of the Blair Witch. My favorite part was when the boyfriend found the lock of hair under the van and then stuck it back up into the undercarriage.
He did that? He stuck it back in?
I believe so. Oh, shit.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Sheriff! What? Sheriff!
Oh, he got shining.
Oh my gosh. She's freaking insane.
You just killed a cop. You're gonna get... They stick a needle in your arm for that.
Ava, I've called you.
Man, what a turnaround that this cheeky young woman ended up being the axe murderer. You know, this is kind of like the Telltale Heart.
He still doesn't notice the sheriff dead on the floor, and
Isn't the sheriff's car still parked there and the guy's yelling?
yeah, unless she like killed him too.
About Hannah's killer.
She wrote that. He's gonna find her notebook of daily affirmations and he's gonna have the corner ripped out.
Oh, he's gonna discover it right away.
Yeah, literally the same scene. Oh, there it is. Oh, she's guilty. Oh my goodness. Oh, he's still alive.
Oh, he's still alive.
Oh my god.
No, he can't be a mechanic anymore.
You know, I think we postulated at the beginning that the stalker was actually going to be the good guy.
Yeah, we got that part.
Oh man, I wish he had his axe. I wanted there to be a big axe off. I bet the ghost chases her all the way to the bridge, and then she falls off and drowns.
I bet you the ghost chases her all the way to the bridge, and she has a memory moment and realizes that she's guilty and she's the murderer, and then jumps off the bridge.
Committing suicide, thus completing the cycle. Fucking texting and driving.
She was talking to her chat and driving. It's like, hey chat, here I am driving.
Recording an episode of oily trash movies from the road. She gets the axe out. She's
vlogging in the she's vlogging in the insane asylum.
Yeah, she's in
like
a padded room.
wrap around. Yeah.
So from now
and it's not even an iPhone anymore. It's a cardboard box that looks like it with a cardboard apple cut in it.
It's just a Sharpie drawing on the wall.
Will she eventually be okay?
Oh, well, that's us. We're actually in an insane asylum, believing we're saying unfunny things on the internet.
True.
Man, that doctor, I'm nominating him for Best Supporting Role in this movie. Alright, that was great. I loved that movie.
So sad, and I really hope she gets the help that she needs.
I knew she was starting to lose it when she was starting to talk about seeing ghosts.
Oh my god, that's Amanda, the extra that didn't get credited.
Is it just me, or did Ava lose?
Man, I want to be the point where people are dunking on me on TikTok. Alright, so this was a perfect ghost story. I know you weren't sold on it immediately, and it did start out kind of slow, but I liked everything about this movie. I loved the autumn, all of the trees with their leaves bare. To go back to Manfish, this is a color palette I actually enjoyed. The twilight of autumn is so beautiful. Small town America, I love. I thought the town was great. I thought all the locations are great. The cabin was cool. The cast was well-rounded. Everyone from the bartender, and the mechanic, and the doctor. the stalker switcheroo, where we thought he was going to be the evil guy, but he ended up just being a man who wanted justice for his daughter. Everything connected. This reminded me of the classic Edgar Allan Poe story, Telltale Heart, where instead of the heart under the floorboards, she sees the ghost of the woman she killed, and it drives her nuts.
I kind of disagree with you. I've seen better ghost stories. 13 Ghost is one of them. Wax House is another one. Blair Witch Project is another one, and that was an indie film that succeeded. It wasn't bad. I loved the ghost scenes when the incorporations of the ghost started coming in. That's when it started getting really interesting and really done. I did like the idea of modernization about van bloggers being obnoxious and insufferable at times and mental because they do walk around with their iPhones talking with people and looking mental, right? The acting was pretty good. Like, I agree with you saying the rounded characters was great. It felt like she was really in a town, and I liked that. I was able to be in this town. The cemetery was okay. I wish it was more ominous kind of looking. But it felt like a real cemetery area. Maybe I'm just being a little cliche with wanting the fog on it and it being twilight hour, and maybe there's like some goth in the background that scares her.
Like bats fly
like,
down.
Yeah. I did like the red herring, the switcheroo of our lead being the bad guy and being the one who turned out to be the murderous, crazy psycho. I really didn't. Oh, and then her talking to her vloggers in that mental asylum was really great. Could have been a little better, like describing her how we said if she was in the white padding room and she was talking to this thing, right? And she was just going nuts. That would have been interesting of her, just her friend asking about the doctor and she's just like going insane, right? And then going back and then being like, hey guys, in today's episode, I'm going to be in my padding room or something like that. You know, that would have been interesting.
Today we're gonna do needleless knitting.
Yeah. The camera work was really good. Again, I loved when the ghost started to be incorporated. I liked the locations were fantastic. Every single one besides the cemetery, it could have been better, but that's an opinion. Not really anything bad. I like the axe incorporation, so weapon of choice. I wish there was more. I like the van. I wish there was a little more incorporation of the van. Like, slowly. It would have been great if the sheriff like went to go check on the van and started pulling that hair out. I did love the fingers
Oh,
axe cutting. Oh, that was so good.
the gore was good. That was it was for one shot. It was
Oh
pretty good.
man, and then the scene where he like looks at his and then there's like blood gushing out and it gets bloodier and bloodier, and then when he goes and runs to the sheriff's vehicle and frees the dad, and it's so bloody and gross, fantastic. And it just he ends up fainting because of the loss of shock and blood. Great. Um I think that's it. The only bad actor that I really saw was the extra Amanda who was in the TikTok saying, "Oh my gosh, she like lost her mind." And did that. I could have done without any of that, but that was kind of cool. I see the idea.
This episode is no longer dedicated to Amanda.
Not a really great line. So if that was the daughter that got run over, what was her name?
Jackie.
Jackie. What was the whole point of Hannah then? Did she just not exist?
Yeah, I guess Hannah doesn't exist. Hannah was really only the externalized manifestation of of Cabin Girl's insanity. And I think it worked well because really the whole thing was a red herring. And when this movie started, we even said, like, oh, is this going to be one of those movies like House of Wax where the entire town is sort of in on it? And that's what the character ended up believing. Right down to the scene where the two people come out, the doctor and the Mystic Fox woman, they're like, we need to get you to the hospital. And she's like, no, I'm not crazy. And she runs off. But it turned out she was crazy. And I think that was a great twist.
Yeah, I agree. I really did love the fact that our lead was the crazy person. I like the idea. I know you kept complaining about it of the cabin being destroyed. Windows are busted. There's a couch that is backwards. There's a gaping hole in the bedroom. There's this rat that she becomes friends with. I mean, if a human being becomes friends with a rat, you should question their insanity. They're crazy. They might come and like the minute you give them the devil card of terror, what is it? Tarot. They're gonna threaten you out with an axe. Just get out. Don't even show them. You're like, I gotta go. Bye. See you later.
That tarot scene was great too. It really told all of what had happened in the story of like the reality, and Ava was just misinterpreting it as being about Hannah Granger when really it was about her murdering Jackie. That was fantastic. Yeah. And thinking back, the seance scene didn't really feel suspenseful to me, but it didn't start moving until just Ava had her fingers on it, so it was her controlling it.
Yeah.
It was her second personality. The car chase scene was pretty weak. That didn't work for me.
Oh, yeah. That was kind of funny, though. It was interesting, like their whole dynamic of all three of them. The guy beating him up, and the guy's like, oh, yeah. And then the officer looking into the van and seeing that he indeed has been stalking her. And then, like, questioning him. He's like, oh, yeah, I do have proof. And then going into her house. It's just that whole arc story was funny. I really like the scene where the boyfriend or the mechanic sees is guilty, and you're like, she wrote it. He's gonna go find the paper journal that she ripped it off of,
and he just walks over and finds it.
Yeah, walks instantly. I love that. There was no like more development of story where they're just trying to be like, oh no, just kidding, it's not that. What is it? Kind of like teasing us with it. Mm-hmm. Director just took us right to it. It was great. I loved that.
So I had called the part where she had written it and tore it out of her notebook, but it did surprise me that the original message actually said she's guilty, and the rip made it say he. That was pretty clever.
I agree. I mean, at the Mystic bar scenes, I would have liked more hustling, a little bit of extras, maybe 3 or 2. And maybe there's like the crazy, like there's one character who has like a raspy voice, and he's like, oh yeah, the Gallagher's there.
You have the old man from Murfish.
Yeah, who like hates the Gallaghers and then says something to confirm her craziness. Like something he's not intending to do, like it's just a story of like just, like he sees that she's inquiring about them, and then he'll say a story that's rumored in town, and that would have made it more justifiable for her to get crazier. Is like a story of like, oh yeah, they're like race, like just throwing in Nazis, right? Like, oh, they're white supremacists, like that.
Oh yeah, they fought for the Nazis in the war and then came over here.
Or like every old town trope of they were for the what was it,
Confederates.
the Civil War, the Confederates. Yeah, they're a Confederate family. You know, like that would have been interesting.
Here's how
And
here's what you change. So don't make it a bar. This woman should be the librarian, and she does her research at the library. Because why would this bartender have a box of old newspapers in the back from 1994?
True.
You need the
Because
scene
it's
where
a
she pulls
bar
up the
library.
microfilm viewer and views all the old newspapers that way, and then that works out perfectly.
I agree. I would have liked it being in the library. I also felt the same way to a point where I thought like maybe this is like a bar library where type of town it is that they go like people
Small
go
town bar
and drink
libraries.
whiskey. Yeah,
I love them.
where people go drink their whiskey and read their favorite Shakespeare. You know, like I thought that was that kind of town. I guess not. It was just a town, and that just makes it weird. If it was just a bar, then why have all those old newspaper clippings in a whole empty room, like a
Yeah,
whole
that was
bar-sized room?
that didn't work out that well.
I did like what our character this outfit was great. Again, the yellow. It just looks
Super cute.
really good. It looks really good in film, and I'm discovering that the more we do these reviews is that directors seem to see it and know it, that yellow just really pops and it looks really nice. It's not as bombarding as red, but it's a nice touch. Our
I'll tell you what this movie needed, though. A scene where she's taking a bath or a shower. And that's it. No, she looks out the window and then she sees the stalker looking in the window while she's in the bathroom. That should be the scene as opposed to her making out with the dude. And then we have a thumbnail. That's my only regret.
yeah. I mean, I say you should use the ghost as the thumbnail. Or how Nudge was saying, use the cow as the thumbnail.
We'll make it work. Yeah,
sadly,
I'll find something. But you know what?
Yeah.
I love the structure. I love that they kept up with the live streaming elements of the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I even called. I was like, I wonder if they're only going to be doing this in the beginning, because that is how some of the movies, specifically Float, was only at the beginning and the end. It was bookend with our lead character doing her live stream, where she was live streaming the whole way through this. That I enjoyed. The actual message where don't text and drive, I agree with Holy. That seems like a pretty good thing not to do, because
okay,
you
Boomer.
can kill people.
Just because. Just kidding. No, totally. I see that, but I would have loved more like her being online and talking to her chat, you know, since that is her thing. I would have liked them doing that. I would have liked oh, and then okay, so now watching this scene. So it was just her craziness envisioning him saying he's guilty.
I guess so. That's what I'm assuming. This whole scene played out exactly how I thought. I knew he was gonna like freak out and start yelling something over and over again, and then the orderlies would rush in and break it up. This scene was the most cliche scene, but it still worked. I didn't hate it.
I think the practical effects, the makeup department did really good. Seeing his wounds here, the burnt of it is really great. The actor who was cast for him, I believe he's in pain and is agonized. I love this, and like there's a reason why he's there. Great actor. Seems so real. He's creepy, scary, fantastic. And then of course the gore scenes that were there were fantastic.
They went all out for those gore scenes. That one single gore scene. Really.
Yes. Really. Well, then she was also, you have the daughter who was ran over. So they did blood on her and made her look disheveled. They have the clump of hair. That's another one. They had the axe to the back, which is another one. There was quite a few makeup effects that they've done, but this one was like the best.
Here's what I wish they would have given us some closure on. Did the sheriff survive or not?
Probably not, because his deputies were like, "Are you serious?"
But I really can't even think of anything I would specifically change in this movie. I do also have some complaints about the graveyard scene. It could have been a little bit spookier, but you know, some of the filmmaking, like we said, with the seance and the car chase, were very indie, very those were oily trash scenes. But I don't think this movie was oily at all. In fact, I think it's going to actually end up rating pretty high on the list of movies we've seen. And I think I'd give this... I'm giving this WarBux. I'm giving this at least 6 WarBux.
Wow. I really like this movie. I'm trying to think about the script, because it was filmed well. It was light. The light was pretty well. Costume was well. The makeup was pretty good. Really good. I mean, I am going to give this Bublegum because of the ghost. Once they incorporated the ghost into it, was really great. The locations were fantastic. I think I want to give it 4. I'm going to give it 4 Bublegums. Just because it dragged too long. There was scenes where I was just like, oh man, like the run over scenes. I wish it was more to it. Or if they couldn't think of anything more, just cut it. Just completely cut. It doesn't need to be that lengthy for it to prove a point. If she would have said something, or if she would to, like, I expected for her, especially with the tarot, when it's like, oh, you're going in reverse. I imagined that she went literally on reverse. She realized she ran over this girl, and then she like ran over her a couple times again, and then just left, right? Which gives reason why there was clump of hair in her van. And then thinking about that spooky story I read when I was a child, is that there was a finger in her. She ended up finding a finger in the tire. She ended up finding a piece of bone in between a whatever, and it wasn't discovered until the mechanic until she took the car into the mechanics. And I would have liked that a little more.
All right, well, I think we both recommend this then.
I would recommend this, yes. I would recommend this to people because it's interesting. It's a very great twist. It's entertaining.
What's great is this was a solid ghost movie that ended up not being a ghost movie.
Agreed. The father, he was a great, like, he felt like he was a bad guy for a very long time until we were like, no, because we've seen so many movies and so many horror movies, so we kind of are experts, which is why we started this podcast.
Professionals. We're professional movie watchers.
Professional movie watchers. I think it's a good time. I would recommend this to couples who want to watch something interesting and be a little spooked, but not too spooked where they have nightmares. I think this is great. I think this is a great medium spooky story. It's not petrifying while you'll be haunted by the movie forever.
This is the
but
perfect
it's scary
movie.
enough. It really is. It's a nice, like, Aunt Mom could see this. I could see this. People who watch very disturbing things could see this and enjoy it.
This is a movie for everybody. It's not,
it's a movie for everyone.
There is some gore, but it's not like Kill Her Goats where there's just blood and guts pouring out everywhere. That some people aren't going to be as into that. I think this would appeal to a very general audience.
Yes, it would also be acceptable for teens who want to get scared and see spooky stories, and it's spooky enough, but not too spooky.
Highly recommended by Oily Trash Movies, and this is a Tubi original. It's available to watch for free on Tubi, so go ahead and check this out. And I think that's all we have to say. Bubble, do you have any parting words?
Shockingly, this movie is less popular than Manfish. Manfish is way more liked and way more popular than this movie. So if you liked our review, and if you go watch this movie and like this movie, give it a little bit of love, but not too much.
Yeah, go rate this a 10 on IMDb. Take care, comb your hair.
And remember to mace directly in that ghost's face. Bye.
Bye.